Relationship by means of a fictional online persona. Experts have reported people who catfish others online do it because they feel an emotional emptiness in their own life that the attention from a stranger somehow fills. But what if this persona was one of a pregnant woman who promises you and your partner the gift of life, her baby? Joy may follow, skepticism mixed with a hearty dose of hope until you find out that it was all a lie. That's exactly what happened to Kim and Brandon, and they join us now live via Zoom. Kim, thanks for being here. I know this is hard to discuss. How did you decide, how'd you find this prospective mother?
Well, we're doing what's called an identified adoption, which is where an expectant mother and a family find each other with the help of an agency. They told us to do our own outreach, and so we created a Facebook page as a way to help us connect with an expectant parent, and we were messaged by a woman who was in her, appeared to be early 20s. She was young, attractive, and she told us that she was pregnant and all alone. First we were shocked, and then we were really excited, and then really scared because it was our first adoption and we really had no idea what to expect.
And Brandon, you were the first to notice something wasn't quite right. What happened?
Well, from the very beginning, something seemed a little off about her. I mean, it was tough because it's a first contact, but she never really gave away a whole lot of information. And so I started doing some searching with whatever information I had. And it wasn't a whole lot, but I had a name and I had a profile picture, and she had just sent us an ultrasound photo. So I started with a reverse image search of her Facebook profile on Google, and I was able to find that profile image belonged to a different woman, which was a law student in a different state, and it really just didn't match up. So next I started looking for the ultrasound photo. There was no names or wording on it, but there were some unique artifacts in the image so that you could tell it was unique, and so I could try to identify it. So I Googled second trimester ultrasound photos and found the very same image on just the third page of the search results. It was from a thumbnail on a YouTube video that was published in 2008, which was 6 years earlier. And you can tell from the picture there was no mistaking it was identical.
Unbelievable.
So I confronted her about the picture, and she immediately said, "I'm so sorry, I was just going through a lot and needed someone to talk to." And then all of a sudden, everything was gone. The whole Facebook profile was scrubbed, and we haven't heard from her since. So she was just gone in a flash. So it was pretty crazy.
If I could say a happy ending here as well, because I understand you did get a daughter from another mom, so I'm very happy for both of you. Thank you for being with us. Brisman is joining us now. She's a pioneer and leader in the field of adoption and reproductive law. She says these catfish adoption scams are on the rise. Why is that?
Absolutely. Well, the internet is just exploding, and social media makes it really easy to hide your true identity. But there's a lot of other reasons as well for adoption. Babies are really scarce now. A lot of foreign countries have closed their doors to the United States, and it's political problems. We can't get the babies that need homes into the U.S., so that has dropped hundreds and hundreds of %. And in addition to that, since the 70s, Roe versus Wade made abortion very accessible. So there are so few babies, the supply is so small that you overlook a lot of red flags when you're desperate.
So how can you protect yourself from a catfish adoption scam? Melissa has some red flags. The first has to do with proof, or as you've seen, the lack thereof.
Well, you want to make sure that this person is for real, and there are a number of ways of doing that. So one of the things you can do is, like this past couple, you can do a reverse image search and make sure they're not using fake people, fake profiles. There actually is a website called fakeababy.com where you actually can go and buy ultrasounds and other things to make you look pregnant. People then use these tools for bad purposes. So you have to be careful. You also want to make sure that a birth mother is willing, if they're not willing to meet you, they're willing to meet with your attorney and your agency and other professionals. Because if they don't want to go to a professional, that's a red flag.
You need to have eyes on at some point.
Absolutely.
The other red flag is money.
So there can be red flags with money as well. For instance, you don't want to pay a birth mother directly. You want it to go through your attorney, and you want actual proof of the bills. Adoptions have certain limited expenses that can be paid. So you can pay for their rent, but you want it to go to their landlord. But there can be bad apples even in carefully vetted situations.
What I'm learning today is that with all the money you have to pay to go through an adoption agency, they ought to really be looking into some of the basic criteria. Personally, I think I'd apply the same rules to birth mothers as I would to hiring an employee. Right? Do basic criminal background checks, drug tests. Agencies, I think, ought to do their due diligence. I know it's harder than ever before, but you want to make sure that the woman who's giving you her child is telling the truth. We'll be right back. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Could your loved one be living a secret life as a serial killer?
We couldn't conceive that our own father would murder anybody.
We go inside the mystery that blew my mind. Imagine being able to experience the physical sensations of the person next to you, even detecting their emotions, the good and the bad. I want you to meet a doctor who says he can feel his patient's pain. And before you get the wrong idea, he's a Harvard-trained neurologist. Dr. Joel Salinas is here. He's about to tell us what people in our studio are feeling right now. Are you ready to go? Okay. Yeah. So when we walk by the front of the audience, they'll be cheering. I want you just sort of figure out what they're feeling and describe it to us.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Everybody! Welcome to the show. Welcome all to the show. So, thank you. Dr. Salinas has a very interesting talent, which we're going to be exploring today. So I wanted him to just get a feel for you, literally. So what are you sensing from our audience?
So you right here, I really feel a bit of kind of tension and kind of discomfort in the upper shoulders,
Yes.
kind of middle back.
That is true. It does happen.
It is true.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Massage that woman's back, please. You feel it right now?
A little bit. It gets worse throughout the day, but
Oh my goodness. I mean, these are rare sensations, but it's interesting you would pick them out of the audience. So, you know, I must say, I've always been amazed that some folks seem to have this ability. You've probably never heard of this before. We're going to talk about it today. But we're going to help everyone uncover the root of their own pain. That's the goal here. By understanding how his mind works is how many of you have talent as well. You'll be able to figure out ways of addressing the issues in your life. So we're going to ask the question, could you have this hidden ability to feel others' pain? Take a look.
As a kid, I always had a sense there was something different about me, but I always just chalked it up to being that weird kid. I did a lot of really specific things, like when I would color my letters and numbers, I would color them very specific colors. Like 1 had to be yellow, 2 had to be red, B had to be orange. And because my numbers have really clear personalities with them and colors with them, when I meet other people, I'll immediately get red too, and I get the sense that they're kind of this fierce kind of feminine personality. It was only until my first year in medical school that I realized that there was something really, really different about me. I was doing a medical trip in India. One of my friends who has a background in brain science said, "Oh, did you all know that there are people who can literally see music and letters with colors as well?" When I took him aside and I said, you mentioned this thing about people who are seeing colors and sounds and things. What's so weird about that? Everybody has that. And he just kind of looked at me and said, no. And that led me to read more up on it. And then I went on this journey to actually get studied by other neuroscientists. After having this test done where I got this label of mirror touch synesthesia, so much made sense, not just in my experience, but also in what makes me, me. But no matter how much I read into synesthesia, it couldn't have prepared me for the actual experience of seeing patients in the hospital. Seeing someone who nauseated, I would feel nauseated myself and want to throw up. I'll never forget walking into one of the trauma bay rooms and immediately feeling as though my left arm was missing from the bicep down. And a split second later, I realized that the person in front of me has had their right arm severed.
I mean, it might sound like a superpower of sorts, but I'd love to understand more about what it's like to actually live with this unique ability to appreciate other people's sensations.
Yeah, mirror touch, it's like my brain automatically categorizes whoever I'm looking at as me, like I am them as well. Like I'm looking in a mirror, so if you have a headache, my brain makes me feel like I have a headache. If you are wearing a watch on the left wrist, I feel like I have a watch on my right wrist.
So Dr. Salinas' book, Mirror Touch, a memoir of synesthesia and the secret life of the brain. He describes walking through a hallway of a hospital where he's encountering patients that are in a lot of pain, like people who've had amputations and gunshot wounds and car accidents. You see, you even felt the pain of death once.
Yeah, as a medical student, I'll never forget the first time I saw a patient die. And, as I walk into the room, seeing the patient on the ground getting chest compressions, I feel the sensation of the floor against my back. I feel the sensation of chest compressions up against my chest. I feel as the breathing tube is being slid down his throat, I feel this sharp breathing tube being slid down my throat. And as he's dying, I feel as though all motion, all sensation kind of leaves my body, and I have to will myself to breathe.
So what do you say to people who argue that you're making this up? This can't be real.
Yeah, mirror touch and synesthesia in general is one of these areas that there's a lot of really great data on. There's genetic data, there's neuroimaging research, there's psychological research, and things like that.
So it's there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So describe what these researchers have identified. If it's that concrete of a finding, what is mirror touch synesthesia? And we have a little demonstration. It's very simple, but it'll get the point across. If you don't mind just describing what people are looking at.
So here, you can imagine the average person, when they're looking at somebody else, there's a mirror system in their brain that becomes active, trying to recreate kind of like a 3D virtual reality type of simulation of the other person's experience. But in somebody like myself who has mirror touch, that mirror system activity is through the roof. Essentially, that simulation of the other person's experience is so vivid, it's like you're literally experiencing in yourself.
My goodness. So there's the question, you know, and you're a neurologist.
That's right.
You've been using this. So how have you used this talent to move from the norm to the sort of hypercharged version in your treatment of your patients?
Well, there was one patient who I was asked to see in the hospital. She had cerebral palsy and couldn't communicate. And one day she just woke up just combative. And I was asked to see her, and it was this kind of additional feeling of discomfort in my chest that I was experiencing that helped us to find that she wasn't agitated because she was angry, but because she had blood clots in her lungs.
You felt the clots?
Yeah, I think if it hadn't been for mirror touch, I don't think we would have caught that as soon as we did.
So it's a huge opportunity, both for the clinicians, but imagine even for us. So you're going to help a couple members of the audience who are having some issues address them. So we're going to start off with LJ. How are you, LJ?
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Nice to meet you.
So LJ suffers from chronic pain. And Dr. Salinas, I'm not even going to tell you much more about it because it's not a magic trick, but I want you to use your mirror touch talents to be able to figure this out.
Yeah. Yeah, with LJ, you know, I do feel that there's some discomfort, but especially kind of in this lower back area, almost like a knot that I feel that's kind of like a fist almost kind of pushing into my lower back.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, I've had several spine surgeries.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
So I know you have an unconventional way of helping people who have back pain that I want you all to hear because I think it would be benefiting a lot of people. So walk us through this example.
Yeah, so one example would be like a visualization. So to tie your pain to another sense, like a color, for example. So if you tie your pain to something like the color red, you can imagine as the pain gets worse, the red gets redder. But if you mentally begin to bring that red so it becomes pinker, the pain can actually begin to feel a little bit less.
It's a lighter color, a lesser aggressive color.
Exactly. So that mental association helps to decrease the pain just a little bit.
What are your thoughts?
Wow.
I know you just heard it for the first time.
That is the first time I've ever heard that, so I'll definitely try that. I've never heard it with color, so thanks.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
I'll try that.
All right, coming up, here's a big question. Could you have the mirror touch power to feel others' pain and not even know it? It's actually much more common than you have thought. How we can all unlock our brain's secret ability. That's next.
Hello, shoppers. Grab your carts because we're going nuts in the nut aisle.
What's the deal with packaged grocery store nuts? Just how healthy are they? All new Oz. That's coming up on Monday. Closed caption sponsorship brought to you by...
When you combine Ancestry's DNA test with its historical records, you could learn you're from Ireland, Donegal, Ireland, and your ancestor was a fisherman with blue eyes, just like you. Begin your journey at Ancestry.com.
The Dr. Oz Show. We're working for you weekdays beginning at 4.
Back with our investigation into a medical mystery. What if a doctor could actually physically feel the pain their patients were experiencing? Neurologist Dr. Joel Salinas can do just that. He has a condition called mirror touch synesthesia, which allows him to feel other people's emotional and physical sensations, and it may be much more common than you think. Dr. Salinas says it's a quick test. Are you ready for this test? Yes. Everyone at home, sit down for 2 seconds. That's how long it's going to take. Watch this video. Okay? It's a bunch of folks playing football. Now, I want you to watch what happens. The quarterback drops back, and there's a player who's running right ahead of him. Number 55 just broke through the line. Are you watching? Are you watching? Ooh, ooh. The question is, did it make you cringe? Show of hands. You know, most of the audience, not everybody, I'd say maybe 3/4 of the audience put their hands up. What does that mean if you cringed?
Yeah, so that cringe is really tied to that mirror system that we all have. But some of us, that activity is just really, really high. So
if you pour in maybe a half a cup, not the whole bottle, just half a cup is good.
You're not pouring it into you.
No, we are pouring it in bath water. Yes, that's very important to make sure that everyone knows that. And so what it does is actually helping kind of resolve some of the symptoms. It's not a cure, but it's going to help resolve some of that burning and irritation that she was describing.
It's my 10th year of the show. I'm still looking for a place where apple cider vinegar does not play a role.
I think it's like good for all over the body.
Unbelievable.
Maybe we should pour it all over our body.
Somewhere.
Yes.
All right, let's decode another bathroom confession. This next viewer can't seem to figure out her pee pain, and it's not going away. Take a look.
When I pee, it burns so much. I cry. Then I notice a discharge and even an odor, no matter how much I clean. What do I do?
Tatiana is here in studio. Can you describe that burning pain with a little bit more detail?
Yes, indeed, Dr. Oz. So, Dr. Oz, let me tell you, I've had a UTI before, but this pain is really different. It hurts so much. And when you add the smelly discharge, it makes me feel like it's something else. I don't know what, but it's got to be something else. What do you think?
Well, I got the expert right next to you. What do you...
Well, she kind of gives a little clue, which was really important, is that there was now a change in the scent. So you had an odor with the discharge. Yes. So what that usually is due to is bacterial vaginosis. And so what happens is you have the vagina, it has a wonderful pH balance that it likes to stay in. Anytime that pH shifts, you have her overgrowth of the bacteria, which leads to the discharge and the odor that you have.
Wow.
Yes. So it definitely is important that you talk to your doctor about it, make sure it's not covering up any other infections, and making sure that you're getting that treated, because like it sounds like you're very irritated, right?
Yes, I am.
Yes, absolutely.
Let me show you a little model.
Sure.
A little animation, exactly what's going down. So let's just go inside the pelvis, right? And that down here, but right down here, there's some fungi in there, and there's some colorful bacteria, but then there's these little white rods, those beige rods, those are bad bacteria, and they're aggressive. And when they take over control because the pH is wrong, and there are other causes as well, they overpopulate. See how many there are there? They're crushing all the fungi, they're crushing all the candida, they're crushing all the good bacteria. They're taking over the whole world. And inside of your vagina, they'll start to make this thick, creamy area, see down here, right?
Yeah.
And that area will create a discharge that has an odor to it, because the bacteria, when they go to the bathroom, release an odor, basically.
Makes sense.
And it can cause irritation, and some of the things that you're feeling fit perfectly with here. Now, if it was just the candida growing, they don't have an odor. They just give you the cottage cheese. So just by examining that discharge, you can diagnose it. So, Dr. Shepard.
Yes.
I'm told that if you just sort of give it a couple days, your body might rebalance. Is that thoughtful?
That is actually very important. Body awareness, but also looking at what you put in your body. Your diet, making sure you drink a lot of water, those things can actually help make the infection go away. But if it doesn't go away in about 48 hours, definitely make that appointment and get to your doctor.
I'll take your advice.
Good luck to you. All right, now we got an audience member who actually flagged down one of our producers. And wanted us to decode her issue. So, Natalie, thank you very much. What are the symptoms?
It really burns when I pee, and my abdomen hurts like I've been working out, which I have not.
You have not been working out.
No.
That's good to clarify that.
Yeah.
All right. And then the urination itself, how is that?
It's like cloudy.
Cloudy.
Yeah.
Can you show us what it looks like when it's coming out of you? Yeah, I want to try to assess the flow.
Okay. I'll show you. See how it's like drops coming out? It's not like a steady flow.
So what is that trickling? I mean, for guys, it's our prostate. Right. But it happens with women as well.
So urine should really be coming out in a nice, steady stream. So when you see that hesitancy and that frequency, that is going to give us the decoder that might be a UTI, a urinary tract infection.
Now, there was a brand new study. I love when this happens. To take the most fundamental problems like a UTI, and there's new data about how you can deal with it. And this is going to be so simple, we'll be kicking ourselves. Because moms have been saying this forever.
Forever, I think. I think my mom even told me that. I didn't listen until now, until I read the study. But what it shows is that women who drink, or anyone rather who drinks about 6 cups and a little bit of water a day, can really decrease significantly the amount of urinary tract infections that you have. So you wouldn't have to deal with that hesitancy and that frequency and that pain. So drink more water.
Get going. Thank you for flagging down the producer today. We're going to put all these clues online so you can decode your pee pain real quickly. But speaking about holding it in, up next, the big question everyone wants to know about. How long is it safe to hold your pee for? Do you know, Natalie?
No.
Oh. Today, the ultimate ultimate pee pain decoder. Now, if you've ever had to go, you know the pain of having to hold it in. You might have done the pee dance, you know, the pee-pee dance. Have you all seen this, right? As you frantically search for a bathroom. But the question is, how long is too long to hold your pee? It's the big question. Everyone wants to know the answers. So, before the show, I asked my studio audience to take a toilet poll with one question. What's the longest you've ever held your pee? And here are some of the answers, right? 10 minutes, 3 hours. Whoa, who said they'd hold their pee for 3 hours? Hands up. Oh my goodness. We have the culprit right here. Come stand with me. What's your first name?
My name is Serene.
Serene. So you notice everyone else put 35 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
There was an hour person. But all these other most basically minutes. What happened? What's this 3 hour deal? What happened?
My first time driving long distance, I was a little scared. So the whole drive, I just kind of stayed at the steering wheel like this the entire time, too scared to like kind of stop. I was driving on the highway, so I just wanted to go.
Have you been holding it today?
No.
No, today you're comfortable. All right.
Yeah.
So Dr. Shepard, our expert in this area, is with us, and she's going to help us understand a little bit about what happens when you hold our pee in. Because the question is not how long you can hold it, it's what happens when you do hold it. So, first off, give us a little anatomy. How much do they actually hold in?
Typically can hold roughly about 2 cups. So, paying attention to when you're full, stopping maybe when you're driving to go take that pee break. But this is roughly how much you can hold.
All right, so let's show everyone what happens when you don't pay attention.
Yes.
You're on a long car ride, you're too embarrassed to pull over. So, here's your bladder, all right? And let's say you're drinking, right? Coffee, tea, which are especially problematic because they make you want to pee. Iced tea, or just extra water. Foods that have water in them, like watermelon or something, right? When you do that, your bladder starts to feel the pressure because your body up here is trying to push the water out. So what does it do? The body pushes the water into the bladder. Now, if you hold it for the normal amount of time, it distends, you feel the pressure, and then you go. But if not, it over-distends, and look what starts to happen. Are you noticing? Right? Little accidents start to happen. They can get bad accidents even. Not this bad, hopefully, but that's a problem. Right? So what do you do? When your body needs to get rid of the fluid, it's important for us, but our bladder now is so distended, it doesn't even react correctly.
And what you'll find is that women, as they get a little bit older in age, 1 in 3 women experience some type of bladder leakage. So it's really important to protect your bladder, make sure you're going as often as you can. Drinking water, obviously for bladder health, but making sure that you empty your bladder so you don't have an incontinence issue.
Is it possible to burst the bladder from overfilling it?
It's very rare, but it has happened before. But you're not in any... It's very rare, but it has happened. But usually what you'll see is over time, as you start to hold more urine, you're going to have more of a leakage issue. So, again, empty your bladder, make sure that you're not holding it too long, and making sure that you're still hydrating yourself as well.
All right, so let's say you don't want that to happen, right? What do you do proactively when you know you're going to be in a long car ride?
So the thing, again, is what we put in our bodies. Paying attention to what we put in our bodies. Avoiding sugary drinks, caffeine, things that are going to really retain water. Foods, we were talking about salty foods, making sure that you find the right snacks when you're traveling, and also making sure that you take those bathroom breaks. If you know you're going to go for a long ride, make sure you go before, and then also making sure that you avoid foods that are going to cause you to retain water and have to hold more urine.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Dr. Shepard, as always. We'll be right back.
Hello, shoppers. Grab your carts because we're going nuts in the nut aisle.
What's the deal with packaged grocery store nuts? Just how healthy are they?
Don't miss our special on hot chocolate.
And are those hot chocolate packets sugar bombs? All new Oz. I'm going to tell you guys about a free new app for your phone that I think is really cool. It is called Be My Eyes, and it connects blind and low vision people to a network of sighted volunteers all around the world. You can give peace of mind to a person in need. Now, I recently signed up to be a Be My Eyes volunteer, right? There it is. The app is so cool. It's about to connect me with my very first call, Marion from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Is she coming in? I think she's calling. This is exciting. Answering call. Up. Hey! Marion, how are you?
I'm great. I'm coming down with a cold. and I can't remember which vitamin bottle is the vitamin C that I want to take for my cold. I wondered if you could help me.
I would love to give you advice on that. I could actually identify which is the vitamin C, maybe give you some more advice for free on the side. But let me see where the bottles are, if you don't mind.
Great.
All right.
So that's the first bottle.
So take the phone a little bit to the left, aim the phone more. There we are, and more to the left, a little bit more to the left. There. Ooh. Can I make that out? If you can hold the bottle in front of the camera a little bit closer, that's a C. That's it. That's,
oh, we got it.
That's vitamin C. Hallelujah.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Oz.
So did I give you a little bit of help? At least I hope it sees the peace of mind you're taking the right pill.
Oh, yes, definitely. So even if it's mind over matter, I think it'll help my cold.
God bless you, and thank you very, very much. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Dr. Oz. Bye-bye.
You can download Be My Eyes wherever you find your apps. Together, change is happening. Our journey is just beginning. I'll see you next time.